Once you get jacked, there's a higher burden on yourself to conduct yourself in a godly way. Now, in the Bible, women are told to be more modest, right? The women are told, you got to be modest and stuff, right? And generally, that's because women are more attractive than men, right? So you've got in Matthew 5:28, right? It says, "But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart," right? And you think generally that applies to women, right? Like in Timothy, it says, women are to dress modestly. And so you think, okay, that's for the women. That doesn't apply to men, right? Because generally, most men are ugly, right? We can all agree most dudes are ugly. But that changes when you get jacked. When you get jacked, you start to realize that women can also lust, all right? And I never realized that until one time I cut down. This was last year, right? So I cut down for the like leading up to summer, right? We're on vacation. I go to this like hotel gym, right? Or this resort gym. And in the pictures, it didn't look that good. So we were there for like 3, 4 days. I was just doing push-ups and sit-ups on my room, like 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of sit-ups. And the whole time I'm there, okay, I'm on vacation now. I got lean. It's time to start eating junk. So I'm carbing up nicely, right? The glycogen stores are filling up. So I go to this hotel gym or this resort gym and I'm pleasantly surprised, right? I'm like, there's like proper dumbbells. There's a bench, right? There's a chest press machine. There's a leg extension thing, right? Like lat pull down, everything. And I'm getting this killer workout and I'm pushing myself, right? This is the first proper workout I've had in like the last 3, 4 days. Because before that, I just push-ups and sit-ups and stuff in the room. Because I thought the hotel gym was going to be crappy with no proper weights from the outdated photos they had. So I'm getting this killer pump, right? I've been in a surplus for the first time in a while. I'm getting a crazy pump. I got veins all over my chest, right? Like I'm just super vascular and everything, and I finished the workout like super pumped, right? And it's kind of a hot day, not really, but it was just hot enough to like, okay, I gotta take my shirt off. I jump in the pool, right? We walk over to the reception area. I'm soaking wet. I don't have a towel, right? So I'm just standing there like dripping wet, pump, veins everywhere, just like looking like a freak of nature, like really like abnormally lean, right? And my dad goes in to give the key. And then there's this Afrikaans like manager lady, right? She manages this resort. She's this straight shooting, like I could bet almost any amount that she was an Afrikaans teacher before she became the manager of this resort. Like super clean cut, straight shooting, like disciplined, like professional lady, right? And my dad goes in to hand the key in, and this lady's standing there, and she just like kind of does a double take. She's like, "What?" She looks me up and down, and then she snaps back into Afrikaans teacher mode. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, "What was that?" Like, I mean, what on earth just happened, right? That was the first time something like that ever happened to me. And I was like, that was weird. So in any case, this same day, I'm literally walking back from that spot. A couple meters later, there's this couple, they park their car, right? And this lady gets out the car, dude gets out the car, right? Probably like 40, they're both fat, right? So this lady starts staring at me, right? She's just staring at me as I'm walking. Her husband looks over at her. He sees that she's staring at me, and then he starts mean mugging me as if like, dude, I don't want your fat 40-year-old wife, right? Like, I'm just walking here. And then he's like, how dare you walk there being jacked and in shape when I'm fat over here? How dare you? And I'm like, dude, I'm just walking, right? I'm walking from point A to point B. I don't care about your fat wife. Like, leave me alone, right? Like, but he looked at me like he wanted to kill me or something. It was so funny. Yeah, so at that point I realized, okay, being lean and jacked at the same time, that causes some problems, right? So I came up with a couple practical steps on how to avoid stuff like that, right? Here's just a couple steps that you can take to avoid stuff like that once you eventually get jacked. Now, if you want to get jacked enough to the point where you actually have to be modest, I've got a full training course that covers everything from nutrition and training and progression schemes and everything you need to know. And it's for a one-time price. Most people charge this price monthly, so check it out, if you're interested in that. So the practical steps to avoiding that situation would be, unless there's like a potential trad wife that you're trying to attract, right? Like, let's not kid ourselves. we lift to be more attractive, right? Like we could say like, oh, lifting is fun, and absolutely it is, right? I'm addicted to lifting weights. I would lift weights if I didn't make any gains at all because I just love it so much. But it didn't start that way. And part of the motivation is still being attractive. So if there's a chick that you can try to attract and you think she's quality, okay, in that situation, that's fine. Shirt comes off, right? That's why you built the physique in the first place, right? Another situation where it would be fine would be if you're trying to make money, right? If you're trying to make money in an ethical, non-degenerate way, like with fitness coaching, online coaching, selling a fitness course, personal trainer, those situations, okay, shirt comes off, right? But generally, if there's no chick you're trying to attract, shirt stays on. If there's no opportunity to make money, shirt stays on, right? If there's just people that are not your target demographic, being like your potential trad wife, just shirt stays on. If you really have to swim, if you really want to swim, okay, that's fine. But what I recommend is what I do is I generally get close to the water, right? And then I'll just take my shirt off and get in the water as quickly as possible. And then I'm just chilling in the water, vibing, swimming, doing whatever I want to do. You know, sometimes you get out of the water, you want to do a cannonball, it's fine, whatever. Just, you know, I try to minimize the amount of time that I'm walking around. You don't want to have this, like, look at me, I'm so jacked type of attitude. This is very context dependent. If you're more bulked up, right, you can get away with like less modesty because you don't look as good. You got some belly fat, you got some love handles, right? You know, you don't have like veins anywhere. You look kind of chubby, right? If you've got a bit of body hair, you can get away with like less modesty, but especially when you're lean, that's when modesty becomes like very, very important. It also very much depends on how long you've been lifting, because if you've been lifting like 6 months and you're walking around like, yeah, everybody, look at me, I'm so jacked and so aesthetic, I've got like a bicep vein and a little bit of a pec on the one side that's been developed a little bit more than the other side, and I've got a 2-pack of abs, you know, check me out. Everyone's just gonna be like, dude, you're weird, get away from me, right? You're gonna be viewed as that weirdo. So even if you're not super jacked, it's still just good conduct to just try to be modest and everything. Alternatively, if you are jacked enough, and you're walking around like, hey, everybody, look at me. Well, at that point, you're just being an asshole, right? Like you're just being a jerk, right? So you want to minimize that exposure as much as possible. Yeah, so it depends on who's around. Read the room. Don't be a skitsy autist and be like, oh yes, my trad wife is here, therefore I shall take off my shirt. Hello, trad wife. Would you like to see my front double bicep pose? Right? Like, what about a rear lat spread? I know I have to say that because some guy's gonna go up to a chick and be like,
hey!
Well, you gotta admit, I mean, when you do that, you look like some big ape or something.
Stop that! Stop this! That's not accurate! That's beautiful! That's what the body's supposed to look like! No, I'm not gonna say it.
yeah, no, I'll probably make a video on like how to actually rizz in a non-cringy way. So the TLDR is, will flexing your physique literally help you attract your future trad wife or make money in a non-degenerate way? If the answers to both of those are no, the shirt stays on. Check out the course in description. Alternatively, check out this video.